All right, welcome back to the show, everybody. Hope you all are having a good day so far. So this is not going to be a fun one for me, but it's important. It needs to be done. So this video is titled "The Complete Failure of the Phoenix Suns." Let's talk about it. Let's get through it because we'll never see this Phoenix Suns team again. Don't know what's going to happen exactly, but well, we know we're going to have a new coach, and I'm sure KD's going to be gone, and I don't know about Beal with the no trade clause. And if I'm Booker right now, I'd probably ask to leave. If I'm being completely honest at this point, I would totally understand it if Booker says, you know what, enough is enough. I gave you guys everything I had. Time to move on, instead of going through yet another rebuild in Phoenix. Anyways, I'm not going to say much else about it. This Phoenix Suns season really kind of gutted me this year, and it messed with my interest in basketball because, you know, I didn't enjoy watching Suns games this year. It made me angry watching what was happening out there. It was like one of those situations I just want to pull my hair out every time I watched. So, you know, my favorite team all of a sudden was not something I could like watch to enjoy. It would just add stress to my life. So I ended up rooting for other teams this year, and Dallas was my main one, but we know what happened to them. Denver was my secondary, and we know what happened to them. So yeah, at this point, I'm kind of rooting for the Warriors, low-key. Anyways, everyone, let's get through this. This is brought to you by Synthetic Sports. I'm going to link the original video down below in the description for you. So if you want to check out that channel, highly recommend it. And yeah, without further ado, let's do this. Let's get it over with, because it's not going to be fun for me, but I think it's important to cover and document. Here we go.
Phoenix Suns have officially been eliminated from playoff contention, failing to even make the play-in. And it's just insane to think this is where they're at after trading for Durant deep in the 2023 season.
Even crazier that they formed this big three of Booker, Beal, and Durant, and since they've done it, they've got the exact same amount of playoff wins as the Portland Trailblazers, a big, fat
zero. Oh, boy. Complete failure indeed. Yep. We're Ant-Man's daddy. We're Ant-Man's our daddy. Luka's our daddy.
Before we start talking about the failure of the Phoenix Suns, please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on any new videos.
But first, a word from the sponsor of today's video, DraftKings Pick 6. Guys, it's Christmas time for us NBA fans. The NBA playoffs tip off this weekend, and we got some juicy looking matchups, especially over here.
Everything is betting apps.
And with the best time of the year for NBA fans being right around the corner, we've partnered with DraftKings Pick 6. Pick 6 is the newest fantasy sports game from DraftKings. Build an entry of 2+ players and select whether you think
I'd like to see what DraftKings promotional budget is. Like, how much are they spending on all these?
It will or won't outperform their
Obviously, they're
projected
making more than they're
Your
spending.
picks are then entered into Pick 6 contests where you compete against those of other users. Get enough picks correct and win a share of huge cash prizes. And right now, DraftKings is offering $50 in Pick 6 credits to new customers who play just $5. So download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. New customers.
Why LeBron? What's all this crap on LeBron's shirt? What is this image?
To new customers who play just $5. So download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now. New customers use our promo code Synthetic and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Once again, that's promo code Synthetic only on the DraftKings Pick 6 app. And thank you again to DraftKings Pick 6 for sponsoring today's video.
All right, here we go.
So we'll start.
Just so you know, I would fast forward through it, but I know these are active promos for them, so I figure it's the least I can do.
This story on May 15th, 2022.
Well,
the
we gotta
Suns
talk
are
about this
hosting
again.
the Mavericks for
Why
Game
can't we let this
7
go?
of the Western Conference semifinals. And what would go down as...
What was the meme? Chris Paul hits a 3 to cut the lead down to 42 or something stupid like that. We don't know. No. Yeah, here we go. Here's the score right here. So, 42 is not an understatement. It was worse than that, huh? Because 40 would be 108 plus another 6. So they were up by 46 at this point. So is it Chris Paul cuts the lead to 44?
One of, if not the worst
42,
nights
43?
in Phoenix Suns franchise history.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
We've talked about this game before in depth, so we'll keep it a little bit brief here.
Yeah,
Maybe we'll even
please.
have a future video just dedicated to this game. It's so iconic, but it's important.
Yeah, let's talk about what sparked it. The Lucas Special statement by Booker. Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just stick the knife in as deep as it goes and then leave it there and then take it out for a couple of years and then let's put it back in.
To remember, the Suns were coming off a finals appearance the previous season. They were by far the most dominant team in the regular season. They won 64 games. No other team, East or West, won 60. The next highest was like the baby Grizzlies with 56.
Yep.
In the Western
One of the many seasons I've experienced as being the best team in the NBA and yeah, not in the playoff. I'm sorry, the best regular season team in the NBA and not getting the job done.
It also was relatively weak this season. Like, as mentioned, you had that young Grizzlies team. You had the Warriors who were back in the mix. You had the Mavericks with Luka and Brunson. That was kind of it. It kind of felt like, Warriors on one side, Suns on the other. Suns were so dominant. They were the favorites out west.
Yeah,
and
we
they
were.
put up one of the worst playoff performances you'll ever see from like an incredibly dominant team. I mean, you were saying this is the worst night in Phoenix Suns history.
Yeah.
I mean, it's up there with like Game 6 of the 2005 Western Conference Finals, where like Amari and a bunch of their stars got suspended.
No,
for
that was more like that was like an atrocity is what happened there. But we weren't mad at the team. The team did nothing wrong. We felt like victims in this situation because we got screwed. There was an unfair situation, unfair ruling. I'll always feel that way. What happened to the Suns against Dallas was there's no excuse. There's no excuse. Those guys got blown out of the freaking building. It is what it is, So, no, this was the worst ever. This even tops Giannis destroying us in the finals. Like, this is worse.
Game 7.
This was a full team collapse. No one was even making eye contact with each other. They fell apart. It looked like LeBron in 2011 against Dallas. It looked like, but the whole Phoenix Suns team was doing it. They were all choking. No one wanted it. They all wanted to get the hell out of there.
Go on to lose to the Spurs. But this was like bleak from the very beginning.
Yeah.
Dallas straight up eviscerated them. They were up 30 at halftime.
Yeah, I remember having a day off too and watching this whole thing. And just like, I remember halftime, I'm like 27 points down by 30. We could still do this. I was so stupid.
Phoenix only had 27 points in the first half.
Yeah.
Dallas had a bigger lead than Phoenix had points in the first half. And of course, we got iconic memes like Luka staring at Booker.
No, that's the one. And see, this is how you know it's over. It's over. He was talking trash earlier, but then now where's he at? He's just like he wants to go home. It's over. And the whole team was looking like this. Luka, as much as like, man, I hated him in the moment of this, I could not help but walk away respecting him because I was like, this guy is a freaking assassin. He's a killer. Booker screwed up by talking trash to him, and he lit a fire under his butt. But most people don't respond like Luka did. Luka responded like Kobe Jordan-esque, Bird-esque, like, I'm going to rip your guts out for saying that. And I haven't seen that in a while in the NBA.
They're just cheesing the up, smiling his ass off. Of course, Chris Paul hits a huge 3 to cut the lead down to 40.
That's it. I had it right. It was 42. Yeah. Yep. Chris Paul hits a huge 3 to cut the lead down to 42. Oh, man. Okay, we're only 3 minutes in. I gotta power through this. This is terrible. I don't even know why I did this. I thought this was a good idea. This is stupid.
You pick the worst day of the year to have a bad day at the office.
Yeah.
Awful. Overall, the Mavs win 123-90, and
it wasn't that close.
Yeah, it wasn't that close, which is crazy to say.
Yeah.
But even after that embarrassment, the Suns decided to mostly run it back with the same group. The one key piece that didn't return was Jay Crowder. I
wanted Crowder gone, and I wanted Ayton gone. But I other than that, I wanted Chris Paul to stay. I wanted Bridges to stay. Like, I wanted to keep the core together because our core was obviously good. But we had two poisonous people on our team. Crowder was refusing to play, And Ayton, I wish he would refuse to play because he was terrible.
Technically still with the team, but he was holding out, and it was even announced prior to training camp that the Suns would look for a trade partner. He wasn't gonna participate in training camp. So this weirdly kind of felt mutual. Kind of weird to see this. Usually it's like, the Jimmy situation here recently where like the team wants the player to play.
Yeah.
They want him to fulfill the contract. This kind of just felt like, fine. Jay Crowder doesn't have that much leverage, I guess.
No, Jay Crowder didn't do crap for us. It was what it was. He would hit a corner three every so often. Big whoop-de-doo. Anybody can do that in the league these days.
I just don't really get it. Like, if you're Phoenix, you're paying the guy.
Right.
Like, why are you going to be okay with him just sitting at home? Like, I guess Jay wanted a new contract.
Yeah, it did last a while.
Want to give it to him, but it's like, just play him still. Like, you're still paying him. He's still under contract. Even without Crowder, though, the Suns had a very good start to the season. They were 6-1 after 7 games. The lone loss
It's a privileged life in the NBA. I mean, it's completely different than the rest of us, what we have to deal with in life, because if you're mad at your boss or whatever at your job, you can't just stop showing up and demanding pay while saying, keep paying me while I look for another job. I want out of here. Like, come on now. It don't work like that. You're canned. You're fired. It's over.
The road loss to the Blazers, a game that we were at. It was the home opener. Game went to overtime, but that was their only loss in their first 7 games. But shortly after that, the season just started to go downhill. They got destroyed by injuries. In November, Cam Johnson tore his meniscus. He would be out 2.5
Cam Johnson was good for us. I'm still keeping an eye on him. Him and Bridges, good players. We got rid of them.
months. Booker had a groin injury that caused him to miss over a month. Chris Paul missed a couple of weeks with a heel injury. Like, it made sense. Like, down one of the starters just because, I guess. And now you're down a whole bunch of other ones from injuries.
Jeez.
Like, a team that won 64 games the year prior was hovering around 500 in February.
But February came and we had some massive shakeups to this franchise. First, on February 8th, Matt Ishbia, he was introduced as the new team owner. And nowadays, he's basically just the poster child for new owner syndrome.
Yeah.
But watching back, like,
let me just summarize it easy for you guys. There are some owners who want to build a team and build their franchise up. This guy came in and he basically assumed all you got to do is spend the money. And that's exactly what he did. He came in and he was going for a win now attitude, and he sacrificed the future for it. If it would have worked, he might have looked like a brilliant man because he would have delivered our first championship. But now that it's failed, what a mistake he did. We had just rebuilt. And then we sacrificed everything for Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal.
Introductory press
Now our future's
conference,
screwed.
he seemed like super excited. Like, clearly he loves the game of basketball, played at Michigan State. And obviously the dude was at least going to be better than Robert Sarver. Like, how could he not? The dude apparently is racist, misogynistic, was trading first round picks for cash. He couldn't be worse than him.
I mean, like, Sarver was zero sugar Donald Sterling.
Right?
Not as bad, but like definitely a bottom 5 owner in the NBA. So yeah, I'm sure Suns were happy to move on from him. So, like you said, on February 8th, Matt Ishbia is introduced. The very next...
All I hope for Ishbia is that he lets the GMs do their job a little more instead of coming in and be, I think he's too involved. So now that he's gotten comfortable, it's been a couple years. I hope he chills out and he lets James Jones, if James Jones is going to stick with us, let him do his freaking job and let him build for the future. Because this isn't, you don't buy a team just to stick around for a couple of years. You do it for the long term. So let's build a freaking team again, I guess.
Today, we got the shocking news that
this is why I brought those guys up. Mikal Bridges, I can't tell you how big he was for the Suns. He was such a huge, uncredited part of our success that, like, outside of like Chris Paul, like, it was Chris Paul, Bridges, and Booker in my mind. Those 3 guys were carrying the team. Cam Johnson was fantastic too. Fantastic. Like, that's one of those. These are 2 of those guys that we got lucky by catching them young, and any smart team would keep them forever and just let them grow into Bridges is already pretty much he's a star. Jay Crowder, screw that guy. You can get the hell right the hell out of Phoenix.
Suns were trading for Kevin Durant. They sent out a massive haul. Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder,
there goes our
5
future.
first-round picks. Like,
5
obviously now the
picks.
Luka trade just is Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 5 first.
So, holy crap, we actually do have a pick in 2026, unless we got rid of it. No, I'm going to wait for later. We probably got rid of that one too.
Round picks. Like, obviously now the Luka trade just overshadows everything. Like, it's the nuclear bomb of trades. Like, it just it trumps absolutely everything. But up until that trade, this was probably the most shocking trade of our lifetime. Like, we had never seen a player as good as Kevin Durant traded mid-season.
Yeah, it wasn't unforeseeable that he could be traded. Of course, the net situation, if you don't remember,
he was demanding to get out of there, so it was different. It's not like it's not like Luka, where Luka wanted to stay in Dallas and they canned him. They got rid of him. KD was wanting out, so it was a mutual thing to get him out of there.
Him and Kyrie, the previous offseason, both requested trades. It didn't happen. They stuck with the team. Then Kyrie gets sent to Dallas, but it kind of felt like KD was like stuck there. We were getting near the deadline. Then late that one night, Kevin Durant gets traded, and yeah, we had never seen a player as good as KD get traded during the season, so it was still very shocking, even though the Luka trade has overshadowed any superstar trade till the end of time.
Absolutely.
It would take about 3 weeks, though, before Durant made his Suns debut.
Yeah.
He was still recovering from an MCL sprain he suffered while he was a part of the Nets. Eventually, he makes his debut on March 1st versus the Hornets, a game the Suns won on the road. They then win in Chicago, and finally in Dallas, Durant gives them a big game. They win that game as well.
He's missing something. Wait.
So you start out 3-0 with Durant, coming back home.
Okay, never mind.
It had to be
here
a
it is.
hyped environment.
I remember watching this. This is the most disappointing beginning to a game ever. Check this out. So this is the first home game. KD in Phoenix. Like, I mean, I was upset with the trade, but at the same time, it's like a big star like KD comes in. It's like, okay, I'm tuning in for this. But watch what happens, man. I saw this live, and it was so bad.
KD making his Suns debut.
Yeah, let's go.
And then dude slips on like an imaginary banana peel or something.
It tweaks his ankle in pregame.
Yep.
And has to sit out. Gotta suck if you shelled out the tickets.
I know.
Absolutely.
I mean, you pay probably $100+ to see KD first game as a Sun, and bro just tweaks his ankle in
Bought
pregame.
the KD jersey.
It was worth the money right there.
Team shop and everything. You were ready wearing your KDs.
But KD did return before the playoffs. He played in 5 more games for the Suns in the regular season, and the Suns won all of them. So overall, in games that Durant played, they were 8-0. And like, it's obviously funny to talk about in hindsight, but going into the playoffs, the general vibe around the Suns was like, why can't they win the title? Like, I don't think anyone was like, oh, they're the favorite.
Because we're the Phoenix Suns, man. That's all there is to it.
It's like, they're 8-0 when Durant plays. The West is very wide open. They were the 4th seed. They had playoff experience. Like, obviously people were concerned, like, oh, they didn't have enough time to gel with Durant, but picking them to win it all, or at least win the West, was not crazy by any means.
Yeah, they weren't the favorite, but they were a team I think everyone was scared of. Round 1 against the Clippers, 4-5 matchup here. Game 1, Kawhi just absolutely dominates. It was playoff Kawhi. He gives you 38, and the Clippers steal game 1 on the road, 115-110. Unfortunately, Kawhi's body, as it often does, it fails him. He tore his meniscus in that game. He still played game 2, but he was shut down after that. Suns took advantage of that. They win the series in 5. Booker was crazy this series. Specifically, game 5, he balled out, but overall in the series, 37.2 points a night on 60% shooting from the field. Yeah, crazy numbers. In the second round, they match up with the top seed Denver Nuggets. Unfortunately, as probably should have been expected and was expected, Jokic just tore DeAndre Ayton apart.
Yeah.
When a guy is averaging a 34-point triple-double for an entire series.
Look at DeAndre Ayton. What is that? What is that defense? He drove me nuts. How hard is it for a guy like him to just get 20 and 10 in the modern game? Give me a break.
I mean, I think DA gets a little bit too much hate,
no, he doesn't.
But man, Jokic was, barbecue chicken alert in this series. Booker and KD were both great throughout the series, but Chris Paul goes down with a groin injury in game 2. And at that point, I mean, their depth was already depleted enough as is, so you lose one of your, big 4 of Chris Paul, Booker, Durant, and Ayton. At that point, it's tough. Like, Booker was incredible throughout these playoffs, and Durant was pretty good as well, but they go down in 6 games to the Nuggets, another blowout loss at home. And I remember remember you were saying like after this series and going to the next series, you're like, you were buying into Phoenix a lot because you were saying like Booker at this point, like he's going to be better than KD. Like I really like Phoenix.
It was driving me nuts too because the media was hyping us up like we were favored to win the next season, which is now. And I remember telling my friends, like my friends could vouch for me because I was driving them nuts with it. I kept telling them, I was like, Chris Paul was our leader, guys. You know, it wasn't our coach. It wasn't Booker. And it's not KD. Like, Chris Paul is our leader. So the second we got rid of him, I lost hope. And yes, I know he's absent when it counts in the playoffs. I get all that. But he was still our leader even when he wasn't in, if that makes any sense. He was still the vocal leader of the team. And then the question I proposed was, will one of these guys rise up? It's not Beal's job, but it was KD's job or Booker's job. One of them needed to rise up and be the leader, be the team captain. Still to this day, it hasn't happened. We fired a coach. We scapegoat to go to the coach again, multiple times now. At this point, still no leadership, on the floor at all. You think a coach is going to be the leader at this point? Coaches are hoping to keep their job more than 1 year at this point. Look what happened to Mike Malone. The one time he tried to take leadership, you're fired. So now it ain't the coach. Don't look at the coaches anymore. I look at the players, and no one has stepped up all this time. So this is one of those situations I wanted to be proven wrong. Really, really, really bad. Really bad. But nope. Got a bunch of bus drivers here. Or a bunch of bus riders.
Bit of fool's gold, honestly, at this point.
Yeah, bought way too much into these playoffs. We'll talk about it more here soon. But like Booker, I don't know what happened specifically these playoffs. You know, sometimes that can happen in playoff series, but dude went crazy. I thought he was going to be the main guy. I thought it was going to be a 1A, 1B with him and Durant. Like my logic was these dudes are balling out.
It's what it should have been because Booker's the younger player. And that's what it sounded like in the beginning. But no, this didn't happen.
The best duo in the NBA, fill out the roster a little bit, and you got yourselves a legit contender.
Following off season saw more huge changes for the Suns. First of which was they fired Monty Williams.
Scapegoat number one. We are now 2 coaches later. Wait. Monty, Vogel. I forgot his name at the moment for some reason. The ex-Bucks coach. So wait. 1, 2. We're on our third. We're on our third coach since this moment, guys. This is 2023. We're 3 coaches later. That's what a mess we are.
After 4 years with the team, like I get the Suns probably wanted more after getting KD, and they got blown out by the Nuggets in Game 6 at home. But man,
poor guy. Yeah, you're getting fired too, bud. This league is shit. You're all getting fired. Players aren't doing what they're supposed to. All you guys get fired.
In KD, and they got blown out by the Nuggets in Game 6 at home. But man, this felt like a big surprise at the time. In my opinion, a big overreaction. Like Monty had just gotten you to the NBA Finals 2 seasons prior. The season before that, they won 64 games, and he's out the door because
Monty and Chris Paul, they were like the heart of the team. The 2 of them together.
They went out in the second round to the eventual champions.
Yeah.
And again, like Durant barely got to play with them down the stretch. They didn't get time to like fully integrate him and whatnot. It seems like a mistake to me.
Yeah, there was the whole him and like DeAndre Ayton hating each other, but they moved DeAndre Ayton. So who knows? Like it just made, no sense.
Yeah, and if you watch that whole thing, honestly, this happened more than once. The whole team was pissed off at Ayton because Ayton wasn't doing his job. He wasn't trying. He doesn't care. That's the thing. Ayton's out there for the paycheck. So he doesn't care. He doesn't hustle. Booker was yelling at him too. Chris Paul's yelling at him. And yeah, coach was giving it to him too. He would bench Ayton too from time to time because Ayton just wasn't trying. So I'm sorry. If I'm the owner of the team, I see a clear problem here. And it's not coach, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, and everyone but Ayton. No, it's freaking DeAndre Ayton that's the problem.
Bring in Frank Vogel, which to me seemed like a very good hire. Vogel had just recently won a championship with the Lakers in the bubble. He was a good defensive head coach. Veteran head coach to lead a veteran team, like it seemed like a really good fit given that they fired Monty. But after getting the head coaching situation sorted out, another just huge move. They acquire Bradley Beal.
I'm throwing out a hot take here. I've been watching Kevin Durant. Well, I've watched his whole career, but really paying attention. What happened? I think he's a coach killer. Officially a coach killer. Look what happened in New Jersey. We had Steve Nash in there for a little bit of time. Immediately, all this talk starts coming around of like, we don't need a coach, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, he gets fired. Come to Phoenix. He's got Monty in a system that we just went to the finals with. We got him fired. We get Frank Vogel in here, who's a championship head coach, defensive-minded. We get him fired. And now we fired another one. I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting the name of the Milwaukee Bucks ex-coach who won the championship, who was our coach this last season. It's driving me nuts. We'll get to that part. We'll get to that part ever. But the point is everywhere KD goes, coaches are just falling like dominoes. I wonder. Because we didn't have a coaching problem here in Phoenix until KD showed up. And look at us now. It's been 4 coaches. We're going on 4 coaches since he's been here.
Sending out Chris Paul, Landry Shamet, 4 first
round. There's that 2026. I knew I shouldn't be happy yet. Because we got rid of the second round pick. 2027 screwed. 28. Okay, 2027. I think we got rid of the first round pick to get KD. So it's like, we're not only are we getting rid of our first rounds, we're getting rid of our second rounds. Look, we got rid of both right there, just in this one trade. There's the second round for 2024. So yeah, we haven't had we get no first round picks ever. And when's our next second round pick? Maybe 2029. Cool. Future's great.
Swaps and 5 second-round picks. An insane haul.
Bye-bye, future.
Beal had been an all-star in years prior, but he had already showed signs of declining, and he was on, and still is, the worst contract in the NBA. Straight up definitive statement. 5-year, $251 million, and a no-trade.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing right there. If you wanted to take the risk, fine, but to take him on with a no-trade clause, What were you doing, man?
A no-trade clause.
That's the thing that baffles me about this trade. It's like, how are the Wizards able to negotiate out 4 first-round pick swaps from the Suns when the Suns knew Beal wanted to come to them and he could shut down any trade anywhere else? How were the Suns not able to get him for like Chris Paul and like 2 pick swaps?
I don't know.
That should have been enough to do it. Like, the only thing we could think of is like Matt Ishbia was like, I want this done like by like, afternoon brunch or whatever. Because this is a ludicrous package to give up for a guy with a no trade clause.
Yeah, they weren't done with moves there though. They signed guys on minimum deals: Utah Watanabe, Eric Gordon, Drew Eubanks, Bol, Keita Bates-Diop, a lot of just filler players. And then they also hopped in on the Dame to Milwaukee deal. They sent out DeAndre Ayton and their second round pick, who was a guy named Toumani Camara, to get back Yusuf Nurkic and Grayson Allen. The Toumani situation, as bad as their front office has been,
Grayson Allen's he's not consistent, but he's a pretty good shooter for us.
Just unlucky. The dude's a second round pick, but what's so ironic about it is he's the exact guy they need, a guy who's an insane defender and can hit an open 3, like on a cheap deal. That's what they need right now, and they sent him off to Portland just as a filler.
And even like when the deal happened, I knew they wanted to
Portland's where we send all of our big men.
Get rid of DeAndre Ayton because the relationship was broken. But for all the hate Ayton gets, he's better than Nurk.
Yeah.
By a pretty significant margin.
The difference is yes, he's more skilled than Nurkic, but Nurk actually tries. So I actually prefer Nurk, despite his flaws, because he's always putting in a big effort out there. So I'll take the effort any day. We can build around that. We can't build around this, because no matter what situation, if we get to the finals, we get to whatever, he's a liability, because he might have stayed up all night playing 2K the night before the big game, because it's just what he does.
better than Nurk. So like, not only did you give up Tamani, who ended up becoming a really good key rotation piece for the Blazers, you gave up Ayton and you got a worse player back for him.
I guess they got Nasir Little as well. Forgot to mention that.
Good for them.
Yeah.
One thing they never addressed was getting a point guard. They ended up playing Booker at point,
Yeah,
and like,
that was stupid too. Why not put Beal at the point? So many things we did.
This is a 2K. Like, you
I know.
You can't just stick a shooting guard.
One of the best shooting guards in the league. Actually, at this point, he was my favorite mid-range player. Yes, he would shoot the 3-ball as well, but so what? So did Kobe. But he lived in the post. He lived in a mid-range. And now we're going to make him our freaking point guard? While we got just KD and Beal on the wings? Like, I don't know, man.
Point guard and be like, they'll know how to play, right? Because like, I can just get Booker's never played point guard in his life.
Not.
Like, you can't just put him in a position he's never played and expect him to like efficiently run an offense.
Somehow though, all these massive red flags we've talked about in hindsight, they were all
it's so similar to when the Bulls put Jordan at point guard. You can get monstrous numbers, but it doesn't make sense to make one of the best scorers in the league right now in Devin Booker and turn him into a facilitator. Why do that? Why do that? You're taking away from the thing he does great. You know, we're supposed to emphasize the things that these players do great and then put pieces around them to fill in the gaps. But what do I know?
There, I gotta eat crow here because prior to the season, they were my pick to win the title.
No way.
Never gonna live this down. Even despite like the recent super teams failing at the time. You had the Nets super team that failed. You had the Lakers with Russ, AD, Braun. I thought they had so much firepower. I really thought Book was gonna take this huge leap. I thought this would be like the last vestige of a super team winning. Obviously, the take aged horribly in hindsight, and it looks like ludicrous looking back on it, but I wouldn't say it was like super outlandish at the time.
You weren't the only one. A bunch of people did. And I had my doubts from day one with this. I'm sorry. I'm weird, man. I'm going to go to the grave with it. The second we got rid of Chris Paul, I knew we were in trouble. People forget. Before Chris Paul showed up, we were terrible. Okay? We were despicable. Chris Paul shows up, we go to the finals. Okay? It's that simple, you know? Don't look at the numbers. I don't care if he was scoring 8 points and getting 11 assists. Screw the numbers. His presence was doing it. His impact on the team was doing it. He gave us confidence. He gave us leadership.
Wasn't outlandish at all at the time.
They had the third best title odds going into that season. But as we'll talk about, they came nowhere close to winning the title.
Now on to the 2024 season. Before the season even started, we got one of the most unbelievable quotes. And like, with the benefit of hindsight,
who you gonna guard? How you gonna guard us? How you gonna guard this? Booker, just stop talking until you win. Win a championship and talk shit to everyone. Until then, stop talking, man. It ages so bad.
The most hilarious quotes in NBA history, where Devin Booker said, respectfully, I don't know how teams are going to guard us. Like, turns out with not much trouble, honestly, for being honest, but like, that's up there with like Josh saying we're fine in the West as like takes that aged poorly from NBA players in recent memory.
That
was a terrible one too.
Guard them when their big three just wasn't playing. First 7 games of the season, Beal's out. He's got lower back tightness.
How you going to defend him? You don't have to.
Devin Booker also only played 2 of their first 10 games. He had a foot sprain. Then,
to be fair, Booker doesn't really miss games unless he's actually injured. He's not a load management kind of guy, and I respect that about him.
Comes back, but this dude Beal misses another 12 games again dealing with that back issue.
Rough start.
It wasn't until December 13th, like a month and a half into the season, they finally make their debut, the big 3. They're 13-10 at the time, not terrible, but given this is championship expectations.
Let's cut the fat. We were better as a big 2 than a big 3 any day of the week.
For the team, not what you want. Regardless, making their home debut with the big 3 against the Nets, and you lose 116-112. I guess it's a revenge game for Bridges and Cam Johnson, but
you lose to the Nets at home.
Yeah, the Nets at home, you gotta be beating them.
Then 2 nights later, game 2 of the big 3, and just 4.5 minutes into that game, Beal goes down with an ankle injury, is out for another 2 weeks. So the big 3 lasted, what, about like 52 minutes of game time together before one of them went out with injuries? Like, man. Fast forward to Christmas Day, and the Suns are 14-15 after falling to the Mavericks. So they're down at 11th in the Western.
I know what you're thinking at this point. It's because of injuries that this didn't work out, right? No. Stick with us. They're all healthy. They're all healthy as oxes right now.
Conference, just a horrific start to this season. They did start to pick things up, though. They won
Dallas continues we beat Dallas that time. I remember this because a buddy of mine was like, see, Luka doesn't own us. We beat him. I'm like, dude, regular season don't count for shit. Like, come on, man.
12.
He hates Luka, though. Like, he despises Luka Doncic. Like, I mean, I like to a point where I kind of want to get him a Luka jersey for Christmas or something just to troll him.
Season the Stars stayed mostly healthy.
But if I do that, he'll probably buy me a LeBron jersey, so probably a bad move. I shouldn't strike first. This ain't Cobra Kai.
Back some ground in the Western Conference, but they never once looked like, the dominant team that I think you expected. And a lot of people expected them to be. Durant and Booker both played very well, but the supporting cast, I guess outside of Grayson Allen, really didn't perform all that well.
Fair.
Beal wasn't awful, but he definitely wasn't what they expected when they traded for him.
Yeah, but we need Cam and we need Bridges back, man.
It hurts to watch, And
I'm so sad. Chris Paul could have ended his career here happily, but we just tossed him. And then he ended up just kind of rotting away for the end of his career.
Forget how great he was before he broke his leg in 2019. Like, he was an excellent center.
Yeah.
And honestly, he's just never been the same since that injury.
Yeah, he really hasn't. He just was not good for the Suns team. They brought in Royce O'Neal, decent pickup. But yeah, besides Booker, Durant, Grayson Allen, there's just no consistency on the roster. When it was all said and done, they finished 49-33. They matched up with the Timberwolves in the first round, and a lot of people were...
I forgot. Oh, no. All right, well, Luka was her daddy first. I guess Mama's off to her second marriage. And let's see who our new daddy is. Let's see. Yay!
Picking the Suns. We both picked the Suns. They swept the season series 3-0, had some convincing 20-plus point wins, even late in the season against the Timberwolves. Yep. But Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels, they were having none of that. I mean, as Ant said before the season, they have KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels.
And that was one of those takes from an NBA player that aged marvelously.
Yeah, somehow aged like fine wine.
Unbelievable. They swept
It's okay.
the Suns.
Shortly after this, he had a terrible take with saying that he's got Kyrie, and then Kyrie whooped his ass. But he whooped our ass, so it is what it is. Anything I got to say about this? Now, this is when the Jordan comparison started with Ant-Man. And rightfully so, because of the way he handled us. Like, he handled us like we were nothing. So yeah, it turned out we made him look like Jordan somehow because we were so bad. And that's not a diss on Ant-Man at all, but it got blown out of proportion, and I was part of it. I got to admit it. That was a bad take in hindsight because I it's been a while, to see somebody torch us in that style. It reminded me of '93 when Jordan was whooping our ass. So that's all I have to say about that. Yeah, he's not Jordan. But Ant-Man, pretty damn talented dude, man. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds for him.
It's 4-0, capped off by Anthony Edwards.
Was it really 4-0?
Unbelievable. They swept the Suns 4-0.
Oh, my God. I blocked this out of my memory. I blocked it out of my memory. We got swept. Our big 3 got swept. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna force this into my memory now. It was real. It was real. Okay.
So capped off by
Good
Anthony
season,
Edwards,
guys.
just
Let's
yamming
run it back.
on KD in Game 4. Basically, everyone besides Booker and Durant was awful in this series. Nurk especially just got dominated by that much more athletic Minnesota front court. So after the Suns had invested basically all their assets into this big
all of our assets until 2030.
Team, they were swept in the first round.
Worth it.
Crazy.
Win now.
Not a good look.
Win now. Win now. Screw the future. Oh, shit. The future's here. Run it back.
Frank Vogel was quickly fired as their
guys,
head.
if you keep track, that's coach number 2. Coach number 2 fired. Thank you, KD. Welcome to Phoenix. Glad to have you here.
Coach, following the sweep, there's not really anything he could have done, obviously, to like prevent anything, but someone had to take the fall. Like they couldn't make any roster moves, so he took the fall. They ended up hiring Mike Budenholzer to be the next head coach. Seemed like an okay hire at the time, recent championship.
I remember why I never remember his name because I can't pronounce his last name. I guess it doesn't matter now because well, you're fired too.
I guess like Vogel, ended up not working at all. And the team had no assets to improve the roster, so all they could do was make small moves, bringing in Tyus Jones to actually get a point guard, adding Mason Plumlee, trading for Ryan Dunn. But we all knew these dudes weren't difference makers. Even me, who loved the team the year prior, saw them as like a first round exit, maybe like 7th A seed, first round exit again. Yeah. Initially though, they did get off to that amazing start. It's insane to even think about now. 8-1 after the first 9 games, tied with the Thunder at the top of the West.
Yeah, immediately lost 10 of their next 14 though. You can't have nice things in Phoenix, I guess. Like,
again, not the coach's fault. He just beat us in the finals with the Bucks a couple years prior. So, not his fault. It's our fault.
Around 500 for the next couple of months, they decided to try bringing Beal and Nurk off the bench. That didn't really work. Their last saving grace, their last Hail Mary attempt was at the trade deadline when they tried to land Jimmy Butler. From all reports, Jimmy really wanted to go to Phoenix. It was his #1 destination. It was maybe the only place that he was willing to go because apparently he kept shutting down offers from other teams. But I mean, if you're the Suns, there was literally no way to acquire him unless somehow you could convince Miami to take on Bradley Beal. And even if you convinced Miami to do that, you had to convince Bradley Beal to go to Miami because he has a no trade clause.
How did no trade clauses become a thing? How is that a thing? And how does anyone sign that deal? No trade clause. That means you could do anything you want, get away with it, not show up. Be drunk every single day. And there's nothing we can do to get rid of you. We got to pay you that 40 some odd $1 million a year, no matter what. Who signs that deal? People don't trust their spouses enough to sign a deal like this. You're going to sign a player to this? Some dude who has no loyalty to you? Like there's no loyalty here? Like it's a business deal? And you're going to sign that?
Insane.
They just couldn't do it. There was no way for them to do it.
They were able to make some trades though. They didn't get Jimmy, but they got Nick Richards. How about that?
That'll do it.
No hate to Nick Richards, but dude ain't Jim.
Yeah, and in a separate deal, they sent out Nurk to the Hornets in exchange for Cody Martin.
He started out strong, to be fair. But Richards, that is, he started out strong. But he fell into the abyss. The Sarlacc pit that is the Phoenix Suns. You come in here ready to go, and then now you just fall into a depression shortly after. Our culture has really changed fast over the last couple of years. People used to be super happy playing here, for the most part, unless you didn't try. It was a whole different thing. It was the only ones who weren't happy were the ones who were getting called out for not playing hard, and now the whole culture is just misery. Everyone's sad. Everyone's avoiding. Y'all ever been in a situation where everyone just hates each other and you're stuck in the same room or the same building and everyone is just like trying not to make eye contact because nobody likes each other? That's the Phoenix Suns now. That's the culture. And that also shows a lack of leadership, 100%. No one is implementing this culture. No one is joking around. No one is being accountable for what the rest of the players are doing. What's the point of getting these huge contracts if there's going to be no leadership involved? It's like managers pay for the NBA, but they're not doing the job that is the manager's job. They're just producing like hard workers.
Martin, they got Cody.
But even after missing out on Jimmy, once again underperforming, like it still looked like they were gonna make the play-in. Like the Mavericks were falling apart. Luka was gone.
This is around the time where me and my friends started like texting and kind of joking around because we're so pissed at the Suns at this point. We were like, yeah, we might miss the playoffs. What if we miss the playoffs? We started throwing that around. What if we actually missed the freaking playoffs? Well,
was done for the season. AD was out. It felt like they were going to, backdoor their way into the play-in at the very least. But KD ends up getting hurt. AD comes back for the Mavericks, and now the Suns end up missing out on the play-in game completely. Sounds like Durant's going to be moved this offseason. We're going to have to wait and see how that all shakes out. Go. And the cherry on the cake, Phoenix doesn't control any of their first-round picks until 2032. That is the next 7 years.
Yeah. And ultimately,
Wait,
the Suns
say it again?
team.
I need to hear it. I did the thing with my brain where I just I pushed it away and I didn't hear it. What's the day?
2032.
I thought it was just 2030. We don't have any draft picks until. We don't have any draft picks for 7 years.
That is the next 7 years.
Yeah. And ultimately, this Suns team, they're just going to be known as another example of new owner syndrome, of course. Matt Ishbia, he had the enthusiasm, but dude just made some awful decisions. Yep. And also just how not to build a team in the modern NBA. Like these trades where you send out 4 future first-round picks, a couple swaps, they never work. The only one
what was this? Yeah, okay. Yeah. I'm glad to see him with the Knicks.
4 future first-round picks.
I was kind of sad that we tossed him to Jersey in that situation. But, yeah, I hope he wins. I hope he does. I kind of like New York.
Couple swaps. They never work. The only one we could think of that came to mind was AD going to the Lakers. It wasn't even a ton of future firsts. It was just a ton of young prospects. And that only worked because you had LeBron. You had your star. You had the best player in the world. Like the other examples, Paul George to the Clippers, Harden to the Nets, Dame to the Bucks. Like none of them have worked recently.
Bridges to the Knicks.
Yeah.
Like, not working as well as they thought it was. Gobert. Yeah, Gobert to the Wolves. Like, I don't know. Maybe this is the one that's finally going to convince teams that this is a bad idea. It doesn't work. But I mean, this Phoenix team just gonna go down as another failed NBA super team.
So what do you guys think? Where do the Suns go from here? They cleaning house? Is Durant gone? Is Booker gone? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving a like. And hey, while you're here, check out some of our other content as well. And don't forget to subscribe. This is Synthetic Sports.
That was a fun video. Not for me. Where do we go from here? Yeah, I think I already said it on the intro. Just to double down, I guess. Get rid of KD. We're stuck with Beal, but we ask him, is there anywhere you'd like to go? Because we're going to rebuild here. So is there anywhere you'd like to go? We'll do our damn best to get you there. So we can get something. And I would get rid of him for some draft picks. This is turning into what I would do as opposed to what we're gonna do. So what we're gonna do is trade KD. We're probably gonna get stuck with Beal, and Booker might demand a trade. I think that's really what's gonna go on. But what I want to do is find a way to happily get rid of Beal. Just get him to a place he wants to go. If anyone is willing to do it, and they're willing to do it for no players, just some draft picks, because no one's going to want to take this contract. But if you say, hey, this contract's about to run out in a year, how about you take it on and we take some draft picks, because I think it'll work out for everyone, because we have no draft picks, we have no future, and Beal is not our future, so might as well let's get something out of this instead of waiting until his contract runs dry, wasting all that money and time. This is going to sound like blasphemy at this point. I think I want Booker to leave. Not because I don't want Booker here, because I want Booker to find some success in the league. And it ain't happening here. I've lost faith in our front office 100%. It's been about 3 years of that, of me losing faith in the front office. And I've completely lost it at this point. So I don't think he's going to have an opportunity to win here. And I wouldn't mind seeing Booker win before he gets over the hill and starts declining. Like right now, he's still like full powered Booker. So I like to see him win. We'll get another coach in here and whatever, same old crap. Probably fire him in half a season. All right, that's it. That's all I got to say about this. Like the vid, subscribe to the channel. If you want more content, not like this, because I don't want to talk about this anymore. Until next year, and I'll see what the Suns look like next year. But my luck. I'll just not do a video devoted to it. But you know my luck. Every video I react to, there's a clip of the Suns getting destroyed by somebody. Like it's just a matter. It's just my life as a reaction person. All right, I'm out of here, everyone. See you in the comments. Don't be too mean. Like, don't be too mean, guys. Don't throw too many jabs at me. I know we suck. Okay, I know. Obviously, if you watch the video, I know. This is embarrassing. This is ridiculous. All right, let me have it. Don't be water this time. You guys are all gonna bash me. Don't be water. Be nice, my friends. Bye.